the afterlife, I yearn. Suddenly, I return to my body, longing for what I've been shown, realizing someday I'll return. This revelation is my hope. My name is Natasha Parache, aka Naturally Dr. Tash, and this is my story. Disclaimer, you guys, I have gotten a terrible flu, so please do not mind my raspy voice. I've had a terrible cough. Luckily it's just flu, nothing nothing serious. I'm slowly healing and I'm left with this raspy voice, so I'm gonna try to do this. This story is about my near-death experience that happened a couple of years ago. And I decided to share this story because it is a really big part of me. You know, it's my story, and if people don't learn to share their stories, then who will? You know, I believe that everybody has a story to share, and there's always something that can be learned from each and everybody's story. And our stories will not be the same. They might be similar, but nobody can narrate your story the way that you can. So this is just me owning who I am, owning my life, and letting you guys into a little bit of, you know, who I am, where I come from. I know you guys just see me as, you know, this person on YouTube, and I've been getting a lot of inboxes these days about how inspirational my content is, how people are inspired to come study medicine, and I'm really appreciative of those you know, those inboxes. They really keep me going. I'm like, wow, so there's people who actually watch my channel and think to themselves, wow, this girl is really inspirational, this is, you know, really great work. Like, that really, you know, keeps me going. It keeps me pushing. So thank you guys, thank you so much. So just a quick background about who I am and where I come from. I am South African born. I'm from South Africa, from a town, you know, in Gauteng, called Randfontein, however you want to say it, Randfontein. People have different ways of pronouncing it. I attended my preschool, primary school, and part high school at St. Ursula's Convent, which is, you know, a private Catholic school. I would say that I've always grew up, you know, being a Christian, or I've always grew up rather knowing that there's Jesus and, you know, the whole shebang. I then, from grade 8 onwards, went on to grade 9 in a different school, and as I've explained in one of my other videos why, I had to relocate, and then I ended up going to Randfontein High School, the best years of my life. Oh me, oh my. That was the motto of our school, right? the best years of my life, oh me, oh my. I was also the head girl of that particular high school during the year 2010. I got selected, no, 2009 I got selected, and then 2010 I started serving as the head girl of that high school. And yeah, so a couple of years ago, as I've shared, if you've been watching my channel, you will know that I had enrolled at the University of Pretoria, which I'm very proud of, because it is, or it was, I think, the #1 university in Africa. So very proud of that. I had enrolled, that was exactly about 10 years ago. Just to cut the long story short, you guys will know how I ended up at University of Pretoria. You know, I went there to study a BSc, which was like a second choice, and I've got a couple of videos which I will link in the description. So fast forward, 2012, I was in my second year of university, and I had just recently gotten saved. I am a Christian, grew up in a Christian home, but I think my walk with the Lord really got ignited late 2011, early 2012, when I connected to this church. You know, that I had been invited to by mutual friends on campus. So the name of the church was 3C. I don't know if anybody in South Africa is watching this. You guys might know the church from Pretoria. 3C, standing for Community, Character and Courage. And yeah, that is where my walk with Christ started. So as this new Christian, I had gotten baptized, I was serving in the house of the Lord, I had joined the worship team. And the thing about our church at the time was there was a main branch which was in Centurion, Pretoria, and they had other branches elsewhere, and one of the branches was on my campus at the Tax campus, University of Pretoria. That was more of a student you know, campus or branch for this particular church, and that's where I used to serve every Sunday. So I was on fire, you know, for all of you guys who know how it goes in the church. I was there on fire for the Lord, you know, very excited to be in the worship team, committed, attending every single, you know, week rehearsals. So we had this thing where we would practice all the, you know, the songs that were going to be sung that Sunday at the main church. So there was transportation from Tax campus to the main church every single week, sometimes several times, you know, in a week. If I can remember correctly, I think Wednesdays and Saturdays were our rehearsal times for the choir. So you guys, you know, I've always loved singing. I've sang in choirs ever since I was a child. You know, I sang, the first time I sang, I was on stage at preschool. So they were doing these preschool plays, right? And we were doing The Wizard of Oz at the time. And they had chosen me to be the lead character, which was Dorothy. And with that, I had to sing Somewhere Over the Rainbow which was a song, very well-known song in The Wizard of Oz, the musical, if you know. And they chose me to sing, and of course I was shy. I mean, I was a child, very shy and whatnot, but went on stage, and after singing, the teacher wrote, I think it was Teacher Mary, she wrote my parents a letter saying, "Dear Mr. and Mrs. Parache, you know, Natasha sang very beautifully today on stage at the school, and because of her singing, she brought tears to the teacher's eyes, and we couldn't be proud of her, whatever, and we gave her a party pack, you know, just to say thank you." So I've been singing really from a very young age, you know, and it was a no-brainer for me to join the choir at the time. So I remember very correctly, it was the year 2012. I was in my second year of study at Tux. Things had gone very well, like the previous year. I passed all my modules and all of that. I had no hiccups. So proceeding to second year, and I remember there was this one particular Saturday that, you know, we were supposed to have a regular rehearsal for our worship team for the following Sunday. So it was a Saturday. So there would be a transport that, you know, would come pick us up every, you know, Saturday, so that we could rehearse with the main branch, you know, be on par with all the songs and all of that. And there was a designated driver who would make sure, you know, to pick us up. I think 1 or 2 people. I know one of them was the youth pastor, and the other one was, you know, the one of the regular drivers of the church. So faces that we knew, you know, we knew that, okay, this person's here to pick us up, and yeah, that was a regular routine every single Saturday. So I really enjoyed, you know, attending rehearsal, singing, you know, with the band, the instrumentation and all of that. That was my thing, you know, especially being in a science background. You know, studying science at the University of Pretoria, that was like my getaway place. You get what I mean? It was like my outlet. It was one of those things where, like, wow, like I really enjoyed, and especially doing it for God. It was like cherry on the cake. Think about it, but sometimes when I think about it, you know, it just reminds me of how merciful God is. But anyway, so the transport came that Saturday, and as we were, you know, embarking within the transport, getting on the transport and all of that, we noticed that we don't know this person, we don't know this driver. So there was a new driver that day, which we had no idea who he was. He was new, we don't know his face, he wasn't one of the regular drivers. But anyway, because he was sent to pick us up, we just had to go with the flow. And might I add that the ride, you guys, to church that day was different. It was so different. I don't know if the man was just a bad driver. I just remember people complaining about his driving on the way to the rehearsal, to church. Like, something is off. I think that was the first red flag. Definitely. We make it to church. We get the rehearsal going. I will never forget. I will never forget. There was a different presence, just a different aura about that particular rehearsal. It was different. It was like the Lord was literally in that rehearsal. We were singing our lungs off, okay? We were worshiping our hearts out. And I even remember, I was relatively new in the worship team, but on that Sunday, I got chosen to lead. I got chosen to lead a particular worship song for the Sunday service. And I was like, okay, wow, God. So there we were practicing, and it's my first time. I've never really led a worship team. I don't know, how to lead worship team songs and that. So, I was also learning, getting coached. We had this youth pastor that was also there with us, making sure that, we're singing correctly and all of that. So I'm just like in the moment, you guys. My heart is full. Everybody is on par. And one thing I can remember, we had new band members. There was an opening for new people to be recruited and join the worship team. I think there was a new guitarist. There were people who could play piano and some vocalists as well, new people apart from us. So it was a really fire worship team, and everything was, I remember one of the songs, actually the song that I was supposed to lead in was a song by Micah Stampley, and it was called Heaven on Earth. And I remember that song particularly, not because I was supposed to lead the song that Sunday, but because of the words of that song. If anybody knows that song, I can't sing right now, guys. My voice is like jacked up. But it goes, to be seated in heavenly places, just like heaven. It goes, to be seated in heavenly places, just like heaven on earth. To be walking in his favor and graces, just like heaven, just like heaven on earth. I don't know, there's something so captivating about those lyrics, and that we were singing that song that Sunday. So this man is driving us, and the Quantum is full. The church transport was a Quantum, or I don't know what they call it in other countries, a minibus. I think it's a little bit bigger than a minibus. I think it can seat about 11 to 14 people. It was a Quantum, I was sitting in a row with a mutual friend of mine, a girl. She was sitting next to me. She was also in the worship team at the time. And there was also another male who was sitting in our row, right? So me and the friend, I won't mention names, the friend and I decided to doze off. When you're feeling fatigued, guys, and it just happens. I don't know, it's like, the fatigue of the road, fatigue of just being on the road. you just kind of like close your eyes, sit back, and and relax, and then you sort of like taking a nap within the vehicle. That's what happened to me. I closed my eyes. I went into a deep sleep, the deepest sleep that I can never explain to you. Why? How? When? But the miraculous thing about it is that there was evidence. The guy that was sitting on the left of us, because I was sitting on the right near the window, and then the girl was sitting in the middle, the guy was sitting on the left. The guy that was sitting on the left had an iPad, right? He had an iPad with him, and he just decided to take a snap of me and the girl that was sitting next to me while we were dozed off in the taxi. So I know this because this is the information that he told my parents. So I go into this deep sleep, deep trance sleep, and then things just start going haywire. This part of the story I narrate as I've been told, because I physically didn't see it for myself. We get into an accident. And guys, this was not a small, minute, like, car crash. It was a messed up, horrific accident. So what happened was that as the guy was doing his bad driving on the road, there were lanes. I think the man was trying to somehow overtake cars, and there were also cars coming towards. So I think as he was trying to overtake, that didn't succeed, and he just caused havoc with the cars coming on the other side. So I cannot tell you what happened, and the fact that I was sleeping, the fact that I just went into a deep sleep, God was just like, what, sleep, my child, because you're not ready to see, you're not ready, your heart can't take this, your eyes cannot take what's actually about to transpire, like, in this place right now. I tell you that me going into that deep sleep saved my life. I got told that the taxi itself started rolling, and as it was rolling on the road, we got thrown out the windows. Remember, I was sitting near the window. We got thrown out the window. We got spat out the window as this car was just rolling on the road. So I got thrown out the window, and I landed on the road. I know that there were other people that did not land on the road. They actually got spat out and landed on fences and landed like in the veld. It's the most horrific thing that I could ever imagine. All these people were young people. All these people were on fire for the Lord. I just thought about something right now. Like, my mom always says, because okay, now we can joke about it, right? and laugh about it because it happened years ago. And she always says, you know, the devil, he really hates the worshippers. He does, because it's not like, you know, you guys were recklessly drinking and driving and, you know, the car accident was caused from that. No, you guys were going to a church rehearsal, you know, going to worship God, and this happened like in the midst of all of that. The devil really hates the worshippers, and he really does hate the finishers. I was rushed to the hospital on a stretcher in an ambulance, and was this one person that I was seeing at the time, who was, you know, my boyfriend at the time. They had called him to the scene, and he had a car, so he drove to the scene of the accident, which was in Centurion, around the bridge area. And they had told him to communicate with my parents. So my parents literally got a call from this guy that they've never met to say that their child was in an accident and, you know, was rushed to the ICU. Listen, life is so mysterious, and I sometimes wonder, like, why do bad things happen to good people? I think about all the people who didn't make it, because, by the way, I think half of that quantum did not survive, including the driver himself. He died at the scene. Some were rushed to hospital and never made it. The memories that I have of that period around hospital were very, you know, very delusional. You know, I think I was just in a delusional kind of state. I think because of the medication, all of that. I can't really remember clearly about what was actually going on. I think I just woke up sometime, you know, to my full consciousness, realizing that I'm in a hospital. Like, how did I get here, you know? And I just remember just having, you know, the support of friends from church, my family that would come now and then, you know, to come and see me, because they also lived far. They had to travel like an hour just to get to the hospital that I was in Pretoria, which was Steve Biko. And it was just a very messed up and confusing time for me. And as I laid in the bed, all I had was my faith. I couldn't walk. I was bedridden. I sustained injuries. I'd fractured my vertebra, right? Oh, for those of you that don't know, you know, the vertebrae are the bones, you know, that are linked to the spine. I think the way that I kind of like landed on the road and how I got swayed out, you know, of the taxi and all of that, the position in which I landed on the road, you know, kind of, I don't know, snapped my spine. My spine was fractured, not only fractured, but snapped and dislocated. And I had to have surgery for that. I went for spinal surgery. I also had a laceration like that runs all the way, you know, through my head, through my skull. And the doctors literally told my parents that, you know what, you're so lucky, you know, she's really so lucky, because there's a place, you know, within the vertebra that if she had fractured those, you know, or those bones got dislocated, it really would have just impacted her spinal cord and the nerves around there, and she would never be able to walk again. I also had my neck area dislocated. I couldn't move my neck, you know, I couldn't do this, you know. I had a stiff neck and dislocation. When I tell you that it was the most devastating time of my life, I've been through it. I've been through it. I remember getting a call from the youth pastor. He literally called me on my phone, and I remember his words saying that, I'm so sorry, you know, about what happened to you. And he was like, God has saved you, because it was not your time. It was not your time to go. And, you know, you have a purpose in this world. There's so much more that, you know, you still need to do. And I just remember kind of laughing and shrugging it off. But those words stay with me, you know, till now. I'm like, yo, Lord, I'm alive. I'm alive in 2021. People are getting taken from diseases, from COVID. You know, horrible things are happening in this world, and I'm still here. I'm breathing. You know, I'm living the life that I prayed for. No matter how hard it gets, and when it gets hard, when it gets tough, I constantly remind myself, I'm like, you have nothing to complain about. You are so privileged. You're breathing, you know, you are here. You are here. You're still here. Others didn't get the opportunity to still be here. And that keeps me going. So around this time, you guys, you can just imagine, I'm a second-year university student, and mind you, this accident took place, you know, those weeks, man, that are gearing up for exam time. I missed all of that. I missed those lectures. I ended up missing my exams. And at the time, I remember that I had a bursary, you know, that I'd gotten the previous year, and I was in jeopardy of losing my bursary, you guys. Like, the bursary was saying, listen, we're pulling out, because they didn't understand why I had all these failed subjects, you know, that were on my record, until I actually had to go out of hospital and you know, explain and write a motivational letter about what happened, and show them proof, the x-rays, etc., that, you know what, I was actually hospitalized during this time. And by the grace of God, you know, they reinstated my bursary, so I didn't lose that. Life after hospital. So after about a month, I got discharged from the hospital. they had discharged me. They said I can go home, and in my going home, I had to wear a neck brace. I had to wear a back brace, which is something that, you know, it's kind of like a brace that you wear within your clothes. You don't wear it on the outside, you wear it within, to keep your spine or your vertebrae supported. And I had crutches. I couldn't function. I couldn't function again, you know. I was not normal. And what I remember about that time is just the support of my family. The support of my family. I remember how, you know, my parents had taken time off work just to be with me. I will never forget that. My mom, you know, just being at home, looking after me like I was a baby again, you know. Mind you, this is a girl who's in her 20s, and you know, your parents have to literally do everything for you, and sometimes even bathe you because you can't even bend. You can't do things, you can't do the things that you used to do. I would really say that my recovery from that was a miracle. It was a miracle. With the help of the church, people's prayers, God, it was a miracle that I could walk properly after that. I remember one of my family members coming to visit, you know, and this was months after, you know, I had been discharged from the hospital. And he said to me, he said, Tash, you know, the way that I see it, you were in this accident for a reason. He was like, God wanted you to go through that because he knows that you are gonna heal people that are in the very same situation years from now. And it's not only, you know, going to be, you know, around here, but in the world. And at the time I was like, man, really? God put me through all of that? For what? And this was way before I even finished my BSc. This was way before I even, you know, embarked on a journey to go to medical school. And when I got to China, and as, you know, attending my classes and all of that, got introduced to the surgery department, that thought clicked in my mind. And I was like, this is what that guy was talking about. This is what my family member was talking about, you know, because here I am, fast forward, I'm living literally in a foreign country. I'm studying something that I wanted to study, and I'm literally living my prayers. And it kind of feels like deja vu to me, because I'm the one who's attending like these surgery hospital sessions, seeing people that have problems that are similar to the ones that I went through. And I'm like, it's deja vu. It really has to be deja vu. I don't know, just as I look back at that story, I'm amazed. I'm amazed. If anything, like that has really drawn me closer, I think, to God, and knowing that there is a supernatural being, there is supernatural power, you know, there is God and there's ancestors. Like, the spiritual world is far more than we think, and really just amplifies the fact that you're here on this earth for a reason, you know, and there's no one that can do what you were sent to do. And there's nothing, if God hasn't permitted it, it's not going to happen. If it's not your time to die, it's not your time to go. I sit here before all of you today to remind you, no matter what it is, you know, that you are going through in life, you feel as if your life does not have purpose. You feel as if things are just moving slow. You feel as if you're going nowhere, even though you might not see it. But God is always up to something. God is always listening. And the tragedies, the storms that we go through, prepare us for tomorrow. Prepare us for the things that we're about to face in the future. They equip us. The stripes on our backs, they're like branding, you know. It's branding to say that this is your story. This is what I'm about. This is what I'm made of. This is what I've passed through. I'm a conqueror. This is what I've conquered. I've slain the giant. I've slain Goliath. So guys, I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed my story as much as I enjoyed telling it to you. As delicate and as vulnerable as it is, I hope that you've taken something from it. I hope that you've learned something from it. I hope that you are feeling more positive, you know, about life. You're feeling more hopeful, you know, about things, situations in your life. There's a scripture that comes to my mind, and it's about dry bones. That dry bones have the ability to live again. It's not every situation that's going to stay the same. There's no one thing that is not going to undergo change. In life, as I look at my own life, I see the seasons. There's seasons of happiness, seasons of sadness, seasons of flourishing, seasons of drought. It's all about the seasons, and it's just all about learning how to maneuver through those seasons and learning that you are not alone, that you are with God, that God has got your back. Even though it seems as if you are alone, you are never alone. So never fear, don't be discouraged, because the Lord your God is with you wherever you may go. So with that said, I'm signing out from this vlog. Don't forget to leave your comments down below. What have been some of, you know, the traumatic experiences that you have experienced in your life? I'd like to hear about that. What have been, you know, some of the most life-changing events that have happened in your life? I want to hear all about it. Drop it down in the commentary section below and let's engage. What are some of the testimonies? What are some of your testimonies? What are some of the things that God has pulled you through you know, in difficult times. Let's engage. Remember that eating and living well is a form of self-respect. So, respect yourself.
sound really fine. 아무렇지 않은 척 아무도 모르게 조심하는데 또 티가 났나 봐. Sound really fine. 너와 함께 했었던 시간이 길었어 나 봐. 난 네 옷을 또 보고 있어. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. I can't control. 잊었다 생각했는데 추억이 잠시 널 떠올린 거야. Still